Hello and welcome to Protect and Prevent podcast. My name is Opal Singleton. I'm the host of this show today. I'm also the president and CEO of an organization called Million Kids, millionkids.org. This organization has been combating human trafficking of all kinds, as well as online exploitation, especially of minors, for over 15 years now. We're a small organization. There are about 8 of us across the United States. Most of us are retired law enforcement or executives or investigators or people like that. And we care passionately about combating trafficking and online exploitation of minors. So today I want to talk to you about how important it is for parents, and especially mothers of parents, to have that hard conversation about sex trafficking, and especially with your daughter. Now, I've given this quite a bit of thought, and the reason that I chose this subject today is that when I returned from vacation, and yes, it was a wonderful vacation, thank you. Anyway, when I came back, I saw 2 cases. Now, our team analyzes every case in America and sometimes around the world, about trafficking so that we can understand how it happens and what we can do to prevent it. We share our insights on that subject, and I just did that with my team. And I decided I wanted to share it with you, especially if you're a mother or a grandmother that might have a daughter that you're concerned about. So the 2 cases that inspired me to do this very difficult podcast, one of them is a Stockton man found guilty of sex trafficking and abusing foster youth. Now, all of this is at our website at millionkids.org. If you want these links, it'll be there. So this is the case of David Hall. Now, David Hall is already a convicted felon, and he is looking for foster kids that he can enslave in sex trafficking. These poor kids, I can't believe it, they were only 12 and 13, and one of them was 17. And he would pick them up and force them to go out and sell their bodies for commercial sex. Now, sometimes when I'm out with my friends, maybe out to dinner, somebody will ask me, well, shouldn't an adult woman be allowed to sell her body if she wants to? Well, if she's an adult, she can do that. That is not sex trafficking if she's doing it willingly. But what happens is these girls get out there, they start doing webcam sex or maybe doing all kinds of craziness online. And then the next thing you know, someone is forcing them into sex. So the definition of sex trafficking incurs force, fraud, fear, or coercion. Can't even say it. I've been on vacation too long. Sorry. Force, fraud, fear, or coercion. And what that means is you're out there and you're doing your thing. Maybe you're an adult and you're doing it willingly, but then somebody starts wanting to share your money, or they give you a quota, or they're starting to tell you that you have to earn more money, or they start taking your money, or maybe they start advertising you and kind of forcing you into an area that you never intended to go. So as an adult, that has gone from being someone who has decided to sell their body for a living to becoming a victim of trafficking. So one of the things I want to make clear on this is, as an adult, you can start out willingly, but if there is force, fraud, fear, or coercion, you become a legal victim of trafficking. However, if you're a minor, it's completely different, and I want to make that very clear. So one of the things that you need to know in this case is these were kids, 12, 13-year-old kids that were in the foster care system. He should never have been able to access them. But when they went with him, I'm sure they went with the idea that whatever he was going to offer them was going to be better than where they were living right now and what was happening to them. And that is often how the grooming starts. I'm going to take care of you, baby. I'm sorry these people aren't here for you. You're going to make a lot of money. I believe in you. I love you. All of those words are used to seduce innocent young kids, and they have no way of understanding where they're going. So, I want to give you another case, and then I'm going to talk about how this all works and what you can do to make sure that your daughter understands how important it is that she not become a victim of trafficking. The second case headline was California man convicted of sex trafficking victims across the U.S. Now, this guy is just absolutely evil. He is a full blown pimp, okay? And he is taking it to the limit. There is nothing he isn't willing to do. He picks up women everywhere he can. He convinces them they're going to make a lot of money, which they do, but they never get a dime. And pretty soon they're being forced into multiple dates a night. This is hard to hear. I get it, mom and grandma and young people. I get it. But it is the reality of how a relationship changes from just being a healthy relationship, which we're going to define here before too long, turning into one where you're used and abused over and over and threatened and physically violated and sometimes drugged, and you can't get free. And even if you get free, they track you down. So it's very important to have this conversation with your daughters. I want you to just get the highlights. I hope you'll go to millionkids.org and look up this case in there. California man convicted of sex trafficking victims across the U.S. And in this case, I was looking for the man's name here. It'll come up here in a minute. It was sounded like I can't get my hands on it right now. It'll come to me. This is taking place in Seattle. And what is happening here? It is Brandon Denzel Washington. So he's named after the movie star, but this is not the movie star. Okay. This is an individual who is named after him. Now, this is an interesting case because it's been going on for years before they were able to get him. And I want to point out that the way they got him was in a federal court, not a state court. That is very important to understand because a lot of these girls get caught up in sex trafficking, but their states has such can't think of it. Mickey Mouse laws. Let's use that. I couldn't think of a nice Christian word. Mickey Mouse laws that they don't get prosecuted. So the girls go back to being violated, and yet these guys walk free because their state laws don't protect their kids. And so in this case, he was convicted out of Washington State. However, he is predicted, I got that wrong, prosecuted and convicted in a federal court. So, but what I wanted to point out here is he is living in all kinds of luxury surroundings, including setting up a brothel in a luxury apartment in Bellevue. So keep your eyes out. If you see a lot of men coming in and out of any kind of apartment or any of your Airbnbs or short-term rentals or motels, you see that, don't be afraid to report it because finally the security officer of that building, who is a retired cop, realized what he was seeing and he reported it. Otherwise, these victims probably never would have gotten free. And what he was seeing here is a lot of men coming and going. One of the victims, he said, acquired more than $120,000 he spent on a Bentley for himself, which he then wrapped in gold. So how much money did the girls get that were earning this money? None. What was interesting here in reading the article, he said he stated in court that he was searching for victims with low self-esteem who were otherwise particularly vulnerable targets who he could force and manipulate into sex work, okay? He tortured these women. He used his fists. He beat them up. He raped them repeatedly. He violated them over and over, and he literally kept all their money. So why is this so important that we see this? So how do we bulletproof our girls? That's the question I always have when I start in this, because being a mother of a teenager today has got to be one of the hardest jobs in the world. Because before your child ever gets old enough to have sex, they will have probably seen more sex than you and I have since we were 40 years old, or whatever age you are. And my point is, sex is everywhere today, and your child is going to grow up in that environment. So I think that it is really, really important to have a straightforward, friendly, non threatening discussion about sex trafficking. And I think that it needs to be in a quiet place where you're non-emotional. It cannot be threatening. You put the wagging finger away, Mom. This has to be mother to daughter. I love you. I'm proud of you. I see you growing up to be a fine young lady. And there are so many ways that there are people out there trying to stop you from achieving your goals. I want to have a straightforward, honest conversation. Now, this isn't a conversation because I think you're going to make bad choices. No, I believe in you. I'm proud of you. I've watched you. You're growing into a confident young lady, and I wouldn't want anything to stop that. So I want you to understand, because it is a complex issue. So, how do pimps recruit girls? Whenever you see, if you've ever been like downtown LA, there were 50 girls in a 2-block area there because California laws make it very difficult to intervene for street prostitution. And so, more than 50 beautiful, fine young girls were out there offering their bodies for commercial sex, not because they wanted to, because somebody is forcing it into them, and they can't get free. So I want you to talk about how pimps operate. Pimps look for exactly what this was saying in this Washington character. They're looking for girls that are not confident. And, confidence doesn't come to every girl. And that's one of the issues, Mom. If you find out that or decide that your daughter is like very shy, quite backwards, has low self-esteem, I encourage you that can be changed, and it can be changed in a fun and positive manner. A girl with low self-esteem is a girl that is easily seduced, groomed, and recruited and exploited. So let's bulletproof our kids by first working on their low self-esteem. So I want to tell you how it works, and then I'm going to give you some ideas for your conversation. So first of all, more than half of the girls in sex trafficking were recruited by another girl. Now that's called a bottom girl, okay? It's called something else out on the street, but this is a public show, so we're not going to use that language. But girls are groomed and work for pimps to recruit other girls. Let's face it, if they don't recruit other girls, they're going to have to earn it themselves. So they're out there and they will look like your kid's new best friends. They prey on foster kids, homeless kids, runaway kids, and pregnant teenagers. All of those are features that they're looking for. So one of them is runaway. One of the most important conversations for you to have with your child is, please, I know sometimes we don't agree. Sometimes we get in these knockdown, drag out fights, but I will do my best to put my emotions away. I would never want to lose you. If you feel the need to run away, let me help you get counseling with somebody else that you can talk to so that you can get out of the environment that's bothering you and you can get positive help. Literally 1 out of 7 kids who run away will be a victim of sex trafficking. By the way, that applies to boys too, especially LGBTQ boys. 1 out of 6 to 7 kids who run away will be a victim of trafficking in the first 48 hours. So promise me you won't run away. And promise me you won't even sneak out to meet somebody you met online, because that's one of the first ways that kids disappear. So they prey on runaway kids. They're looking for kids with low self-esteem. Watch their language. because they're going to come in and start using terms like, oh, I'm sorry your family isn't there for you. They're looking for you at a time when you're angry at someone and they're going to fix it for you. I'm going to take care of you are some of the most dangerous words your child can ever hear. Let's teach our children to be self sufficient. Why does your child need someone to take care of them? They're intelligent, they're smart, they're goal oriented, and they will take care of themselves. If you are turning your life over to somebody else to take care of you, you are going to lose control of your life and you will be deep in and you'll think you can get out, but you will find that getting out once you're in is much more difficult than you say. So watch the language of someone that you're talking to, whether it's online, in a mall, in a personal relationship. People get trafficked all kinds of ways. Yes, they may know friends at school whose family is trafficking them, and they feel bad about it. But traffickers will prey on anybody with low self esteem, anybody they can take advantage of, anyone they can begin to dominate and control. And that is the name of the game. So they'll befriend you and then they betray you. And, there are male pimps online. They're in all kinds of sites. They're in dating sites, hookup sites. Many of your gangs now put their gang guys on dating sites for the sole purpose of finding someone they can recruit and groom. So watch out to your online relationships. I know of one case where she found him on a tattoo site and she pursued him. And she talked to him for 2 weeks. He lived in another town about 100 miles away. She actually raised the money to go see him, and he immediately had her gang raped. And that is exactly what happens. They will seduce you, they will coerce you, and then they will get you out away from family and friends alone. And one of the first things that happens is they have you raped. He may rape you or they may have you gang raped. And they film it and they show it to you. And they tell you that it is now out on the internet and everyone will see it if you don't cooperate. And that is often a tactic. Another common tactic is we're going to be in business together. We're going to earn lots of money, honey. I'm going to buy you a house. You're going to have my baby. And it looks like a relationship, except you are doing all the giving. So we will talk about relationships. If you're doing all the giving and he's doing all the taking, that is a relationship and it is not a relationship. Let me correct that. That is a negotiation and you are losing. So take a look at what kind of relationship that he's looking at. So he looks like he's going to take care of you. So watch the language in any new relationship. He'll often say, I'm sorry your dad wasn't there for you. I'm going to be there for you. You're beautiful, or just do this once for me. Any man who wants you to have sex with other men, whether it's for money or not, is not a man to be trusted. In fact, that's what I want to talk about next, is what happens in these relationships, and then what do you look for? The pimp will become violent. They will give you threats. They move you out of the area. They blame you for everything. They may start to beat you. They may have you gang rape. They may demand that you make so many dates a night or you don't get to eat. And they will do everything they can to keep you away from your family. I hope the conversation is, I know that's scary. But I also want you to know I'm here for you. I love you. I hope that never happens to you. We're going to talk about how to avoid it. But if it should ever happen to you, I want you to know I will turn heaven and earth. I will walk through the coals of hell to find you and get you back. So if you should find yourself entrapped at any time or in danger, please trust me enough to call me. Text me, write me, let me know where you're at. And that is important. But I hope it never gets there. And I want to talk about what it is going to take so that you don't become a victim of trafficking. First thing I want to get straight with you is that I believe with all my heart that there is no such thing as damaged goods. You are a loved and blessed and cherished child of God. And we will never reach a point where you are so damaged you can't come back. We love you. God loves you. We forgive you. God will forgive you. You can and should do everything you can to ask for help. But if somebody starts telling you that you're damaged, run, baby, run. It'll never get better. Those should be the biggest words in your head. You hear the word you're damaged, get the hell out of there. I don't care what it takes. Sorry about my language, but this is serious business. Damaged goods will make you feel like you are bad. There is a difference between guilt and shame. Guilt is I've done something wrong. I can make new decisions and I can change that. Shame says I am wrong and nobody will ever accept me. That is a lie, lie, lie. You are valuable, you are good, and it is never too late to turn your life around, ask for help, and make new choices. So let's talk about what happens and what kind of relationship you should be looking for. You see, this happens because young people have not yet defined who they are and what they want in a relationship, and then what a healthy relationship should look like. I often marvel that our kids are going online, by the way, so are old people for what it's worth, looking for love in all the wrong places without defining what they're looking for and what kind of values should they have and what kind of attributes should they have and what are their choices and how does it work and how do you get out if you find out that someone you're starting to talk to isn't who you think they are, and it will happen. So number one, promise me you never run away. Now let's talk about healthy self-esteem. You know, I often say that I believe that many kids think that self esteem is something you get in the DNA, and they just didn't get it. It's like they think you're born with it. And if you're not born with it, well, I don't know what to do. I just don't have it. That's crap. Okay. I'll be as Christian as I can here. That is a fallacy beyond words. You are as valuable as you decide you're going to be. Because the way you get healthy self esteem is you decide who you are, what you stand for, what you want in life, and you decide that you are valuable. And once you decide you are valuable, nobody can take that away from you. While I was on vacation, I read a book that I bought like 20 years ago. And I looked the author up. He died in 2016, but he was one of my heroes, Dr. Wayne Dyer. And one of the things he says is the most important words you ever use are the words you use for yourself and on yourself to tell yourself who you are and what you stand for. You can say, okay, I've made mistakes. Okay, I'm not everything I want to be today, but I'm going to decide today that I'm a valuable person. And I'm going to decide today that I can find healthy self-esteem because I want to be a good person. And I am going to make decisions every day, and I'm going to tell myself those healthy decisions that I'm going to do what's right for me. So let's sit down with your daughters and let's say, help me understand. Let's write them down. Who are you? You see, one reason pimps can take advantage of girls is they don't know who they are or where they're going or what they stand for. So it's easy for them to get seduced in and sidetracked to somebody else's goal. But it doesn't matter if you're a foster kid, a homeless, a runaway kid, a pregnant kid, or just a scared 13-year-old girl who's trying to act tough and do the best you can. Let's back up and say, you're 13, you're 14, you're 15. By the way, don't do this too young, Mom. Scaring kids with bad sex before they go through puberty might be a dangerous thing to do. Your decision, you're the mom, you know your child. But set them down and say, you know what? Self-esteem's a decision you make. I make it every day. And yeah, I make a lot of mistakes myself. I'm not the person I always want to be, and I'm sure you'll agree with that. Okay, we're two people trying to do the best we can. But I'm going to decide with you today who I am and what I stand for. I'm going to write those down. I'm a person that believes in healthy sex. I'm a person who believes in helping others. I'm a person who believes doing the best I can every day, even though I'm not perfect. I'm a person that believes in the truth. I'm a person that believes that it's not healthy to lie. I believe that if a healthy relationship's healthy, we shouldn't have to sneak around to do it. We shouldn't have to lie about it. And that's another conversation to have. What are you looking for in a mate? All these kids are going online looking for love. So, how are they going to know if they have healthy love or not so healthy love? Because it all looks real good online. And that's true for your grandma and grandpa who are lonely, too, by the way. That might be an interesting conversation over dinner. I hear about these romance scams all day long. Forgive me, I digress. But let's talk about our kids. What are you looking for in a mate? All of us get all excited when somebody else starts to like us, but we forget to look beyond their traits until sometime we're deeply in love and we find ourselves overlooking everything. But do they have good moral values? Are they willing to compromise you and not care that it will bring down your reputation? Because that's not a healthy value. If they value themselves and value you, they will treat you with respect. Anybody who's asking you for a nude online is not a healthy relationship. A nude online can compromise you for the rest of your life. And besides, it can end up in a case of sextortion. If you follow me and kids.org, you know that we have podcasts about sextortion all the time. And so girls get in love and they fall in love, but they're really kind of in heat. Okay. And it's a normal, healthy thing that happens to young people, especially when they're 13, 14, and 15. But those are life event years, Mom. You need to know that. Whatever happens to you at 13, 14, 15 will stay with you for the rest of your life. And this is the reason that it's so important to have these healthy conversations with your daughters. Decide what your values are and decide what you stand for. You may not know what you want to be career-wise, but you may want to know that you're going to be successful, whether that's a successful mom or a successful career person or someone who goes out and helps others or someone who decides to get a degree or someone who decides to work in public service like law enforcement or code enforcement and that kind of thing. You may not know what you're going to be, but you will know the kind of person you want to be. And these are the years where we mold our children into having personal pride, having moral values, setting goals, starting to visualize themselves as healthy adults that care about others. So talk about what happens here. If you're in a new relationship, yeah, we all get butterflies. We all get excited and like that. But once the butterflies are over, the reality of the relationship starts to take hold. What do we know about that person? Can you have open and honest discussions with him? And this, by the way, applies to everyone out there. Building a solid relationship for especially a marriage is depending on people who respect you. They won't ever ask you to compromise your values in a way that would degrade you, that looks after other people, that wants to be the best and do the best. And talk about decision making. Can you just sit and talk to this person? And what do you talk about? Talk about never compromising yourself. Someone who values you and respects you will never ask you to compromise your morality. That's simple. They will never ask you to do something degrading. and they're willing to ask for help if they do get themselves into trouble. You might even talk about your online digital reputation, because more and more that is out there in a globally connected world. Everything you do online now has a digital reputation. Now, other people can harm that reputation, and that's extremely painful. And it can make you embarrassed and make you ashamed, or it can put you in a position where you feel like you're damaged. If that happens, I hope you'll trust me enough to come to me and let's talk about how we can fix it. Don't do something crazy. We'll talk about how to fix it. I mean, let's face it, with artificial intelligence and deep fakes, any one of us can become a victim of online. So I want you to know that this is an important discussion. It won't be the only time we talk about it, but you are so precious to me. I would never want you to end up in one of these situations. If you do, I hope you know I'll be there for you. I'll track it down. I'll find you, because you won't be able to get free. So I'm going to ask you to make decisions where you won't get sucked in, you won't get abused, you won't be taken advantage of. But if you make a mistake, I am here for you. I believe in you, and I believe it is never too late to start over and make new decisions. And if that is necessary, I'll help you. But I'm wishing the very best for you. You are growing up to be a very fine young lady, and you have a good head on your shoulders. I trust you. I believe in you. But I also want you to know that if it ever goes wrong, I will help you get help. Most important, I want you to remember these 4 words. And Mom, I'm going to tell you, these are the 4 most important words on earth. By the way, we sell challenge coins. I'm not here to sell you one, but if you want one, we sell them online. They are forever challenge coins. They are beautiful. Those are those, what do you call those? I forgot, the special kind of challenge coins. But they say, I believe in you. Mom and Dad, Grandma and Grandpa, those are the 4 most important words on earth. If you can't think of anything else to say, especially in a time of heated battle, I believe in you are the most important words. My name is Opal Singleton. The organization is millionkids.org. Millionkids.org. We have all kinds of resources. I have my book out there, Digital Warfare, Our Kids on the Front Line, just been published. Amazon.com, Digital Warfare, Our Kids on the Front Line. In audio on our website at millionkids.org. We have challenge coins there. If you believe in this work, you want to support this work, you can make a donation by going to millionkids.org. Or if you go to millionkids.org, you can use your credit card or send me a check. I pick them up myself. We are a strong organization. We're a small organization by choice, but we're strong, and we've been here 15 years. This is the toughest time in all of history to raise your children. I get it. But it is also worth it that we build solid leaders full of self-hope, self-worth, to lead this generation into the future generation of a globally connected world. This is a call to leadership unlike ever before in history, and you're on the front line. Thank you for listening. I'll see you at the next podcast.